Well, welcome back to Let's Play Higurashi Tsumihoroboshi. That long silence. It's like, just wait for it to load here. Yes. Where do we live off again? Oh, yes. And I just ate. You better not go back into that context, Rena. I mean, just seeing this right here. Just like, ugh. Still, I don't think that there are card drops. It's been how long? Actually, let's have a look. It's been about a month, really. If they haven't got card drops now, then they probably never will. And that's a big shame in my book, in this book right here, because they had it all for the other ones, why not this one? If not, I call fucking bullshit. Where are my cards? My pointless cards, I don't know what they actually are for. Whatever. She found something. Perhaps it was a card drop. It had the exact title I was looking for. About maggots and the curse of... Oh, for fuck's sake, right now. Oh, Higurashi-sama. I just ate. I just had to cook dinner. That I waited like freaking 2 hours for. I was like... I could have a shower, but food could be any moment now. 2 hours later, I could have had a shower and I could have done recording. Just... why? In the Meiji era, a group of villagers were on their way back to Himizawa and they started stressing about a weird disease. They said that maggots started crawling out of their wounds of a person who left Himizawa and that the maggots ate the person's body from the inside. Shinto priest at the Friday shrine at that time explained that the weird disease was a sign of the curse of Higurashi-sama. So, that was a thing even before these mysterious events then. According to tradition, the Shinto priest showed the villagers an ancient scroll and he told them that the story of the maggots had been passed down through the ages. This is what the scroll said. The world where the demons came from must be in the land of death. And the demons in that land of death had to live their lives while being eaten by maggots. Shit lives then. Villagers who are of the demon's blood had nothing to worry about as long as they lived in Himizawa under the protection of Higurashi-sama. But once they left Himizawa, abandoning that protection, the maggots that had been sleeping in the blood of the demons would start to awaken and they'd eat their bodies from the inside out. How lovely. This maggot disease scared the villagers for a while, and they asked the shrine to provide them with protective talismans whenever they had to leave the village on business. Sure, this isn't just a scam. This is interesting, as it's similar to the way homesickness was dealt with by the Swiss in the Middle Ages. So the war started, the delusion of the maggot disease faded away, but they remained accustomed to send talismans to families that lived away from Himizawa. I want to see if we can see a kanji character. But then again, they don't have like... it's different from English. They don't have that little bit of highlights. Oh wait, yes they do actually. Uji something key something. Does it reappear anywhere? Because you mentioned it twice, I think. I don't see it. I mean, look at all these kanji characters, man. It's like, look at that. It's like, okay, what have we got here? We've got a waffle on a table that has like little hairs, and he's next to an old-timey candle stand. And what else we got? We got a waffle running with a hat on. And over here we have what would that even be? It looks like a small table that has been covered. And over here we have I'm trying to think here. What is it called? This is like a broken... what were they called? Used in polka music. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, loads of kanji characters, man. How are you supposed to memorize all this? I bet even Japanese people, like, after they've, like, learnt all about the kanji characters throughout school, and then, like, later on it's like, yeah, we're fluent in our language, and then they come across an occasional kanji character where they're just like, what the fuck's that kanji character? I've never seen him before. There's just so many of them.
The talismans had the word maggot on them.
But the most interesting part about all this is that the residents didn't know about the maggot disease until the rumors began. I thought that their unconscious worship made those people think of homesickness as a curse. So this case of the previously unknown maggot disease directly contradicted the research I've done so far. I bet this part isn't gonna even have a decent thumbnail, is it? It's natural to think the group of people who were on their way back to the village were lost in a mass delusion because they strongly believed in the curse and that Shinto priests took advantage of their state of panic to instill a deeper faith in them. I can see how they'd think that. But I'm not fully convinced that it was merely a coincidence that this mass delusion matched with the story in the old picture scroll. I wonder if it's possible to see maggots in a wound without having the requisite knowledge when a person is cursed by Shiro-sama. I wish Shiro-sama would put its curse on someone I could study. I'd love to see the maggots coming out of someone. Well, that's a bit morbid. I mean, that happened to Rena, so I guess she did meet someone who had experienced it. I felt as if Mion-san was here making that request to me. It's like, oh, Rena, so can I see it? It's like, no, that was years ago. Yeah. Just Jesus Christ, it's so... It literally... It's just like... It's kind of one of those things, isn't it? It's like... way to describe it just fits in more perfectly, doesn't it? It's like, oh, maggots on the skin. Oh, it makes your skin crawl. Oh, it makes your skin crawl. Ah! Oh, it gets under your skin. Oh! Kind of shit. I remember... when she gave me the scrapbook, she said that I might be the only one who could understand them. I felt good just for a moment. So I found out that the maggots weren't a delusion. But at the same time, it destroyed my excuse that it was a delusion. The maggots weren't a delusion, they were there. All of a sudden, my wrists, elbows, inner thighs, and neck started itching. I felt the urge to cut open the blood vessel, but I quietly held it down. But wait, Rena. If this actually was something, and it was actually physically there, how come nobody else commented on it? I remember that Mion-san looked very serious when I talked about the maggots. She must have thought it was creepy. But so did I. I was crying because nobody believed me. A part of me didn't want to believe that my body was filled with those creepy things. I think part of me wanted to believe that it was a delusion. But now I know it wasn't. It wasn't a delusion. There are some people who had the same experience. Maggots in the demon's blood will awaken when you lose the protection of Shiro-sama. In other words, they may not awaken under the protection of Shiro-sama, but all the villagers still had the maggots in them without knowing it. People of the demon's blood are people who have the creepy maggots in their bodies. I tried not to jump to conclusions and flipped the pages again. I unconsciously looked for something related to maggots. About parasites and control of their hosts. I wonder what a kanji character for a parasite is. Speaking of which, I didn't go over the word of the day yet, have I? Yeah. Wait, actually, let me just check. I might recognize that kanji character. In here somewhere. Yeah, that third character is for insect, Mushi. Let's see if we can find parasite in here, though. If we can find that, that'll be the word of the day, even though I just said insect, which is Mushi, so that could count as a word of the day. Let's see if parasite's in here. Thought I did recognize it though. Guess I might as well just... that one right there. That's the kanji character for insects. It always kind of bugs me. There's a series called Mushi, and it's like, oh, the creatures, the strange creatures in that series are called Mushi, which just means insects. And what does Mushi mean? She seems to be added on a lot. Like in Higurashi, you know, it's kind of like the arcs are like Tsumihoroboshi, Tatarigoroshi, Onikakushi. I don't understand. Is it to indicate it's a chapter? But in the case of Mushishi, it seems like a kind of occupation of some sort. Sort of. Anyways, still looking for that word. Yeah. Nope. Maybe if I look for Mushi. No, that wouldn't make sense. Never mind. Mushi will just have to be the word of the day. I was thinking maybe if I looked on the Japanese section for Mushi, but it's the last character at the end of this. And if this is like for just Parasite, then that's quite a bit, isn't it? It's probably not like a huge mouthful of like pronunciation or anything. Could be the equivalent of that right there, Nioru. But it just looks so intimidating when it's all kanji characters. Because I can't even decipher it. It's like, with me it's just like, oh, I can decipher that. That's ni, that's yo, that's ru, that's ni, that's su, that's e, that's te. But it's just like, what does it actually mean in English though? I don't know. I'll have to just... That's the thing, it's just like, I can decipher it, but I can't translate it properly. Unless I recognize it, like I did with the kanji character there. Recognized it. The mega disease made me think about something. It is possible to say that the extremely strong homesickness of Hinamizawa was an infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite. Now, I want to see if Hinamizawa is in kanji as well. Oh, you got some kind of going on here. What's up with that? Oh, homesickness. Yeah, I see where that one's going. Hey, look, it's the kanji character for what? One of the few kanji characters I can recognize. Maybe that's just Na in that case. Narakano. Because it has a few different pronunciations depending on its context. Anyways, where's Hinamizawa? It must be somewhere where the kanji characters are. Because clearly I cannot see it in hiragana, so it must be kanji characters somewhere. What is this anyway? It's appeared before. Uji something, key something. Actually, so like it's dragging it on a bit, but see if I can find something in this here dictionary. Nope. No UG here. So, unless... Nope. No idea. You got Ushi, which is a cow. But that's not what we're looking for there, so forget it. Oh, that must be for maggot disease then. Actually, it probably doesn't have maggot in this dictionary, but surely it'll have disease. That seems like a pretty obvious one to have. Where's the disease in this dictionary? Disease. Disease is I think that's Byoki. Byoki. Let's put it back in Japanese. Let me see if it actually is there. Yeah, that last kanji character is definitely disease. But the thing is, actually, it's got key in there as well, hasn't it? So that could be added. But then again, here my dictionary has 2 kanji characters, and only one of them appears here. Well, let's see if maggot's in here, but I doubt it. Nope. But that kanji character is definitely that. It's like, yeah, this part is not gonna have much of a thumbnail. It's like, it's either gonna be the text or it's gonna be the book. It was a infectious disease caused by some kind of parasite. I'm not trying to connect the maggots, these all of parasites. Trying to think about the possibility that their culture, their religion, might be associated with an infectious disease. Many infectious diseases are caused unintentionally by parasites. A parasite's host is literally its home. It wants to live with the host body for as long as it can. The best way to do that is to coexist with the host without their host knowing it. But some parasites try to control their hosts and use them for prosperity. For example, some parasites have an ability to control their hosts in order to force them to be eaten by a superior host. A typical example is the Dyracolium dendricum. It uses snails or ants as intermediate hosts, and it forces them to move to the upper side of vegetation so that it's easier for a superior host to consume it. Let's see how freaking the Japanese language handles that. Just like, this is how they handle it. They don't. It's like, fuck that. We're not gonna try to find out how to freaking put that there. Just like, how do we do that? Do we write down katakana, or have we got kanji characters? Is it Japanese equivalent? No. Fuck it, just put it in English. I wouldn't have a clue how to freaking put that in Japanese. It's quite a mouthful, that one. One parasite that controls more complicated animals is called Toxoplasma gondii. It uses mice as the intermediate hosts, with the superior hosts being cats. This parasite makes the mouse lose its fear of cats in order to increase its chances of getting eaten, so that the parasite can live within a cat instead. There are parasites that choose hosts at random. The rabies virus is commonly known for that. It lives and breeds in the brain of a host, and it moves into the host's saliva through the salivary glands. Interruption, I've got back my lolly, so probably won't be a long recording then, because it'll melt if I go on too long. So it'll just be one part, mostly just me rambling. Let's see how far we can record. It starts extremely aggressive in order to make it bite things randomly so that it can move into what? So that it in turn can move into other hosts through the saliva. That's what rabies does. Many parasites have a similar ability to control hosts. Their benefits. This makes me think of like I can't remember. Was it like it was like some kind of parasite that pretty much turns ants into literal zombies. Just like the examples I used above are about parasites that move into other hosts to prosper. But I think there must be some kind of parasite that controls its host in order to have a comfortable environment in which to live. I want to try to connect this theory to the abnormal humming ability and homesickness of the Onikafuchi residents. Let's say that some kind of parasite that exists in Himizawa and it lives in all of the villagers' bodies. For the parasite, Himizawa is the most comfortable environment to live in. so it gives the host a strong homing ability in order to make them stay in Hinmizawa. Furthermore, it causes the host to get homesick whenever they ignore this homing ability and try to leave. Parasites need hosts in which to live. It's convenient for them if the hosts build a community in an environment where it feels comfortable. This theory makes it easier for me to explain the mysteries I described earlier. The Transcendence Monogafuchi knew about the existence of these parasites. They knew that as hosts to the parasites, they couldn't live outside the village. That's why they created a culture and rules that prohibited contact with the outside world. It also explains why people acted so abnormally during the dam conflicts. So, the demons that came out of the swamp in the legend of Oyashiro-sama can be interpreted as the mass spread of the parasite. The story about the demons attacking the villagers must be a metaphor for the behavior of the infected villagers who were controlled by the parasites. This theory is too crazy. I should have just laughed about it. But I felt bad for Mion-san, so I decided not to. Hinmizawa is controlled by parasites. You could use that theory to explain how the maggots came out of me. I felt a little bit dizzy, I was so confused, and a part of me thought it was ridiculous. Another part of me thought it was more convincing than any curse. Well, compare, like, a curse is kind of more of a superstition kind of thing. While parasites has, like, okay, but a whole entire village? But Mion-san was probably erased because she wrote these scrapbooks. The parasites, they grew super intelligent. If so, the contents of the scrapbooks must be something they can't ignore. They try to get all of her scrapbooks and co-sign them to oblivion. What if they notice some of her scrapbooks are missing? I felt a chill running through my spine. I have to keep it a secret that I have these scrapbooks, and I'll have to try to understand more about their contents. I remember Mion-san told me that the three families are behind a series of mysterious deaths, and that they're trying to resurrect the cult of Oyashiro-sama. According to the theory I just read, that parasite must be trying to maintain the current environment of Hinmizawa. The healthiest environment for it is a completely closed village, just like the primitive Ondegafuchi. It must be very comfortable for the parasite if no hosts go outside the village. They don't even like that the villagers often leave the village to go shopping. That means the parasite would try to goad the host into resurrecting the cult of Oyashiro-sama. I remember there was an article in the scrapbook saying that the demon's blood runs thickest in the three families. That would mean that they have a larger amount of the parasite in them than the other villagers, and that they're under its control. The three families seem to be planning to bring the village back to the Ondegafuchi era. And what was the Ondegafuchi era? I forget. It's like... Actually, was that just post-World War II, or was it prior to that? I remember we got some backstory on that in Watanagashi and Alorox in general, really. Reviving the Watanagashi festival after the dam conflict can be interpreted as the desire to revive the faith that had started to fade away in the Meiji era. I guess the village probably goes back way further than that, I guess. The three families, especially the Sonseki family, have a great influence over the region and the public organizations. But I'm pretty sure it was like after World War II that the Sonizaki family, for example, like brought in a lot of prosperity to the village. What's going on here? I thought this to be a poorly written theory, but the pieces fit together one after another. I've never played a jigsaw puzzle as crazy as this, but it's not a... well, I get what you mean, obviously. Trying to make a shitty joke, just like, but the scrapbook isn't a jigsaw puzzle. Felt my brain swelling, to this absurd theory. A part of me thought this was ridiculous, and another part of me thought I might be about to expose an unbelievable truth. When I tried to look into the center of it, I felt as if I was going to fall into the whirlpool and drown. I'll have to devote myself to reading more seriously. There must be some truth to this. It caused misfortune and made my life miserable after I moved to Higurashi. I might be able to find the truth, including the cause of my parents' divorce and my desperate behavior. What's that got to do with that? Right then, I heard a knock at the door all of a sudden, scaring me. I hid the scrapbooks under a cushion. Rena, you have a phone call.
A phone call this late? Who is it?
Who is it? I would be recording way into this part. But unfortunately... is it melting yet? It's not quite melting yet. Alright, let's record a little more. We'll find out now. It's from a bookstore. Did you order some books? They said they were Oishi-san from the Okinawa bookstore. Bow bow. Far Eastern music. What instrument was that anyway? The plot thickens. Just have just like pointing my microphone right in the direction of the fan, just like that. I have no idea why. Just spice up the loading. I opened the windows, but all they let in was heat and the cries of the cicadas and Keiichi's perspective. It's too hot. Yeah, it's not really hot now, but here we're getting another bloody heat wave. Apparently one of the driest summers here in many, many, many years. It really is. I mean, it's summer and all, but bloody hell. It was break time between classes, but we couldn't really get any rest. Mion and I leaned on our desks, exhausted by the heat. The younger kids sure are tough, considering how the heat wasn't bothering them at all. They were running around the classroom despite the temperature. There's schools in the cities that have air conditioning in their classrooms. No, they don't. Only a teacher's office gets to have air conditioning. That's torture. Well, that's better than nothing. If I were a student at a school like that, I'd attack the teachers and take over their office. You'd be the first student ever to do that. I didn't even have the energy to laugh. Mion and I stopped talking and used our notebooks to fan ourselves. I looked at the empty seat nearby. It was Rena's. Rena didn't come to school today. She called and told Chie-sensei she couldn't come because she's sick. Rena seems to be feeling down these days. Yeah, she probably got tired from the heat. You really think that's the reason? Yeah, why? I think it's the incident. Maybe, it's probably both that and the summer heat. I can't even imagine how distressing it was for her to commit a murder, dismember the bodies, and get caught by her friends. We took each other's hands at that place and we united. All of us believed that we had closed the case there and had regained our peace. But was that as easy for Rena as it was for us? She must have not quite recovered yet. You think? This old man thought she'd get over it if she played along with us. But I guess her pain ran deeper than I thought. What should we do to cheer her up? What should they do? Is it melted yet? Not yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it melts soon, so... Gonna wrap up the recording. So, I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time.